Hello everybody and welcome back to Bengals, the Bengals series in Madden 2001. The season is completely unraveled. It is just completely gone down the tubes. Everything is done, man. We have lost 4 straight to get us to 4-11 after being at, 4-8, I believe, after that win over the Steelers, or the last video after that last game that we had against the Ravens. But we did pick up a win against the Steelers, and then everything else has pretty much just been downhill and not even really close even. The Browns and Ravens games have been close, but the Bears and Titans have had their way with us, and I mean, their schedule's not even that tough. These are all pretty bad teams. And speaking of bad teams, we have the Seahawks today, quarterbacked by a legendary journeyman, Jon Kitna, who, of course, like I mentioned in the last video, the teams, for some reason in this game, they don't really turn over the roster, so Jon Kitna is still, I guess, Seattle's best option at quarterback, or at least the option that they're comfortable with running with. But there is a young Shaun Alexander, so I don't think I've ever seen Shaun Alexander in these uniforms for the Seahawks, so this is just a very weird blip in time. That's why I love Madden 01 so much. It's such a weird, gross, gray area for the NFL that I grew up with, and, the NFL before me, before I was even a thought. So it's a lot of fun, but this game is not a lot of fun because nothing has happened in the first quarter. So the Seahawks being 7-8, I didn't show any of the playoff picture because we weren't a part of it, but I don't think the Seahawks have any real chance of getting into the postseason as Peter Warrick gets into the end zone for the first points just in the game period, as we finally put together a decent enough offensive drive to get into the end zone. And Seattle's already going to try and answer back to us, but I don't think Seattle has any chance of getting into the postseason at 7-8. They would probably need a million things to go their way, including a win today, but we can at least maybe play spoiler and just put a firm stamp and on their season by preventing them from even going 500 and just giving them a losing season, which, hey, play for something, I guess, right? But Seattle is marching their way down towards the end zone, and Shaun Alexander is shaking off every possible person he can. He's a big guy and a tough guy to try to get down, so I am not shocked that he's mobbing us like that. But on 3rd and goal, we do have an opportunity to stop Seattle as they're on about the 2-yard line, and we send the entire kitchen sink, and fortunately all those big guys get their hands up and block that pass because he was wide open. That tight end was wide open in the end zone. We had nobody in coverage, so Seattle's going to have to bring out the kick unit, and it is good. So 7-3 is your score here late in the first half, and you can see their breath. So it's a cold game here in December in Cincinnati. So Achilles Smith gets absolutely clobbered, but not before he gets rid of it. And I don't know what that defender was doing. I don't know if he thought that it was open season to just run for the quarterback. I have no idea. He came back, bit off of his route, and Peter Warrick was wide open to make that catch and get a little bit further. Yes, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he had a zone or a different assignment. I really don't know. It's hard to figure out what the AI is trying to do. But time is expiring. There are no timeouts left. And Achilles Smith's trying to get up to the line to maybe get some points. But we run out of time. So just terrible time management by the CPU, as we've seen across this entire series. But 7-3 is your score, and we are now moving the ball on offense again. And we're going to find a receiver across the middle who's going to get brought down just shy of the marker. That's going to bring up 4th down. We're going to bring up John Green for a long field goal attempt, but he is good from that distance. 45 yards is no issue for him, at least when we're watching. If we're not watching, he's missing it, I guess. So Seattle is working on the other side of the ball now. Shaun Alexander again shaking people off. Just no one is even going to get him down, man. Everyone is just getting shooken off, man. Unbelievable. He is just absolutely impossible to bring down. He's as disruptive as I thought Jerome Bettis would be against us, man. But he helps flip the field for Seattle, and on another 3rd down for Jon Kitna and the Seahawks, he cannot convert. So that's going to force Seattle to bring out the kicking unit yet again. This one time for a little bit longer, but he is still good. So 7-6 is going to be your score late in this ball game. Excuse me, 10-6. I forgot about John Green's field goal. But 10-6 is your score. So we've led in the 4th quarter before in these really gross kind of back-and-forth grudge matches, and we found ourselves on the losing end of them. So we really got to tighten up. And the biggest shock of the game is that right there, the Pro Bowl nod for Jon Kitna. He is a Pro Bowl quarterback on a 7-8 Seattle team. When you got Shaun Alexander in the backfield doing stuff like this, it is just unbelievable that this man is playing the way that he is, man. Oh my gosh. In an empty stadium, we can't do anything. There's just zero mojo, zero anything left. So Seattle's going to try here to get back in this game, as they have now taken the lead late in the fourth quarter, and everything rides on this drive. And we're already getting a huge boost as we have a massive return forming here, and he does not have the speed to get into the end zone, but it is still a massive return, and that's going to get us in Seattle territory to start off our potentially game-winning drive here. So on 3rd and 7, Achilles Smith is going to find Peter Warrick again. That dude just cannot seem to blanket Peter Warrick. I don't understand why. Peter Warrick hasn't been nearly that disruptive throughout the entire season, really, even though he's been our most consistent, healthier receiver. But, I mean, this defender's having a hell of a day just trying to lock him down. So time is expiring underneath a minute now in the fourth quarter. Achilles Smith dropping back again. That pressure on the edge gets picked up nicely. And again, it's Peter Warrick just getting dotted in the corner of the end zone, man. He has been causing fits for the Seattle secondary. I don't know what their freaking problem is, but they got to figure something out and cover number 80 right there, because it is not working out. And Chris Waller is a part of this. He has been around the field. You saw at the beginning of this drive, he had a little graphic flash up. He is around in this game, but he hasn't been a huge part of what's been giving us points and getting us in the end zone. So we haven't seen too much of him. It's really just been all Peter Warrick's game, basically. So Seattle now 53 seconds left to operate. That's plenty of time for them to get into the end zone, especially from where they're at on the field. They had a decent return as well. And Sean Alexander out of the backfield now is causing problems as he gets a first down. And now the Seahawks are right around midfield, which is 48 seconds left to operate. They're going to need to move quite a distance here in a short amount of time, and that is exactly what they plan to do, as John Kitna finds his receiver and gets a massive pickup. And I can see now why he might be a Pro Bowl guy. I don't know. That was a Pro Bowl type play. So we have him stopped on a 3rd and 10 now, and John Kitna is going to go for it all in the end zone, and he cannot connect. So we get something here, a little breath of fresh air. So on 4th and 10, Seattle's got to keep the offense on the field, because the field goal will not win it for them, but that will win it for them. Is getting in the end zone, as Kennedy makes the catch here and gets brought down in the end zone. An amazing final effort by the Seahawks. If you were a Seattle fan at this time, you'd probably be losing your freaking mind. And I'm losing my freaking mind for other reasons, for complete opposite reasons. So with just 20 seconds left to go now, Seattle with a 3-point lead over us. Achilles Smith's going to go for a long ball, and he finds Chris Waller. There he is. I told you, he's around. He's in here. So now we get to midfield now and call timeout, and with 15 seconds, so we have a lot of time now to operate now. Game is seemingly opened up, but Corey Dillon doesn't seem to know where the ball is or where he is on the field, so that pass goes nowhere. So on 2nd and 10 now, just 12 seconds, we just need to get into field goal range to tie this game and go to overtime potentially, and we're going to find Peter Warrick again, because they just can't seem to defend him. And so now with 6 seconds, we're going to call a timeout, and it would be a very long field goal for John Green, but we are going to attempt it, and it is up, and it is through. And there you go, the game-tying field goal with 2 seconds left on the board, and we are going to overtime, ladies and germs, as John Green has put the team on his back. Just put the team on his back. And so now on the kickoff again, you know, if I'm showing a kickoff, some shenanigans are going to take place. So Chris Waller, our return man, runs up the middle, finds some open space here, and gets brought down at hour 45. So it's another pretty big return. So 2 big returns in very crucial points of this game. You know, we haven't seen a lot of special teams flares like that. Chris Waller had, I think, a couple return touchdowns in his rookie season, but we haven't seen too much of him since then, as he makes a catch right there and gets a little bit closer to the first down sticks, but not by a lot. So 2nd and 6 now at about our 48-yard line. Smith is going to drop back, and he's going to find Sharper, the tight end, who's shaking off some dudes, and that's to get brought down by 4 different Seahawks just to get on the ground. So it's a great play by Sharper. And we're just going to get another look at it, baby. Just take another look. Achilles Smith has been pretty well covered as well. I don't know if there have been any sacks that I've edited out. I can't remember, but all the coverage that we've seen passing-wise, he's been pretty well protected. One of those deep balls to Peter Warrick, he got clobbered on, but other than that, I think he's been pretty clean back there. So 1st and 10 now, getting ever so closer to the end zone. We're going to give it to Corey Dillon, maybe try and get a few more yards, maybe even center it. And there's the rushing production, man. Sean Alexander's run all over us, and Corey Dillon's done nothing. But we're close enough now, so we're going to bring out John Green for the game-winning field goal as he nails it through, and this game is almost entirely off of his leg, man. He has been the guy. He's won this game for us, man, and he's helped us ground out that 5th win of the season. We're going to finish 5-11. We're going to send the Seahawks to 7-9, and John Kitna's Pro Bowl season at the helm of a losing team, man. Just That is just wacky, bro. I love Madden 01 for those reasons. I just love it for those reasons. Look at the breakdown here. The rushing thing is really the big divider. We outpassed the Seattle pretty well. They were terrible on third down, but we weren't a whole lot better. Our red zone percentage is also pretty bad, so we weren't really all that effective in the red zone. So some interesting numbers to focus on if we're looking at them. So Achilles Smith has himself an amazing game, going 23 for 30, man, with over 300 yards passing. Like I told you, man, he was pretty clean, pretty composed back there. Running, we didn't really do much of anything. Peter Warrick has an absolute career day. Chris Waller doesn't have a terrible day either, just not too much to speak of. And then looking over the defensive breakdown, everyone getting their name heard in some form or another. So it is a good, decent game from these Bengals, and then John Green, of course, is the star. So here's your playoff breakdown. The Bills played the Browns. The Cardinals played the Panthers, Colts and Steelers, and Cowboys and Bears. But the Browns beat the Bills. The Cardinals managed to beat the Panthers, and then the Colts beat the Steelers, with the Cowboys winning. And then the Jaguars beat the Colts. The Bucks beat the Cards. And I'm falling. I'm just falling. I'm stunned by what's happening here, as we have a Denver and Tampa Bay Super Bowl. That is just nuts to me. Then we have a Denver and Tampa Bay Super Bowl. I mean, Tampa Bay would reach the Super Bowl around this time, and they managed to win. So they beat the Broncos. So the Broncos dynasty has continued. It is maintained. This entire franchise that we've done, man. Remember, they won the Super Bowl the year that we were knocked out of the playoffs. So what, 2 years ago, I think? They won the Super Bowl, and then we had to beat them to get to the Super Bowl when we won it in year 2 or 3. So that is, the Broncos have just been here the whole time, man. They've just been there. So here is our coaching report card. I just want to look at it because this is where I really fought myself on whether or not to continue the series or not, because I feel like after a year like this, I would get fired. But the last 2 years have been injury-riddled, which I think has really defined how bad the season has gone. So I think with the Super Bowl in my back pocket, I think I would get probably another season to prove it, but next year is going to be the last year, folks. It's going to be the last season for the Bengals series, and then that's going to be it, man. We've been going at this for a long time, and things have not gone well. So next season's going to be the last one, so I hope to see you guys there in that next off-season video.